Welcome back to our second installment of Learning to Code with Adobe XD. So we left off with this jargon of open brackets and closed brackets that is very ugly to look at. We're going to be nuking like half of this. This ellipse tag doesn't exist in BBCode. We have to code that ourselves. A lot of things that we specified in our layout on Adobe XD we're going to have to manually code on top of designing it in the program. So let's look at our raw text here. These are our divs. As you can see, it only shows us as having two divs, which we obviously want more than that. So we're just going to go ahead and completely erase that ellipse tag. It's gone. We're going to erase this rectangle tag. And we're going to delete these span tags. So that leaves us with these SVGs and two divs. We can't use SVGs in BBCode, at least that I'm aware of. I actually don't know the validity of that claim. We're just going to change that to div. Same here. That should do that. In BBCode, we use square brackets and not angle brackets. Brackets. This is going to be a lot of tedious editing one single thing at a time. But, you know, it really takes a lot of the hassle out of just figuring it out as you go, which is why I really like it. Square brackets. If I have like 20, 30 items that I'm working with, I just copy paste them, but it's not worth it right now. We don't use these either, so you can get rid of those. Alrighty, so we can try and hit preview, but nothing's going to come up because our classes aren't in the right format either. So this entire section that says media view info, root, star, open angle bracket, don't need any of that. Just going to delete that. Some coding guru somewhere is wringing his hands in grief over that, but you know, it doesn't suit our purposes, so. This hashtag symbol, pound symbol, tic-tac-toe symbol, whatever you want to call it, is what we call in CSS an ID tag. We can go into that another time. If you have questions, just leave a comment, but we don't want that. So we're going to make that a class and get rid of this curly brace. I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all of these and pick and make that text and title. Got to do the same to this bottom bracket. And replace them in all of your classes. We don't want to adjust our zoom, so I'm going to undo that. And now, as you can see, we have these little web view tags, which aren't important for our code. We can get rid of those too. Before we preview this, let's go ahead and change this position from being absolute to relative. Just to show you why, let's, never mind. We need to add colors before we do this. So, what was the color on our background? Our background color was this hex code right here. You can go, actually, get rid of the background tag. It almost always gives you an extra one if you change your color. Don't need it. Copy that hex code in there. And let's, oh, that would be why. We have IDs down here and not class names. There we go. That should do it. Okay. see what happens when you keep your position as absolute rather than relative. It breaks your computer. So we're going to change absolute to relative, and that should solve your problem. Now we want this to be centered. So instead of margin 0, we're going to go margin right, auto, margin left, auto. And this is just a practice of making sure that it's compatible with all the screens that are using it. More often than not, your codes aren't going to be compatible with mobiles, but you can do what you can to kind of make it work if it's something skinny and tall, like in character post. Margin left and margin right set to auto makes it so that it automatically centers it into your screen. Do we want the rest of this? Yes, we want the rest of this. Alrighty, so let's see what that looks like. Nice, that's what we want. Now, for our picture, we got rid of all of the formatting on it, all of it. There's no formatting left on that picture, so that's why nothing's coming up. Excuse me while I format these because I suck. For our picture, in order to make it show up, let's add a background color. And our hex code on that was just black. Now we're going to get a nice little square. So to make it round, it was really easy in the program because we just made a circle, but in BBCode, there's probably a proper way to do this, but I just picked some arbitrary pixel number that's greater than 100. Let's go with 200 pixels. And that should make it round. Did we have a border on that? We did have a border on that, which is going to be this cute color right here. So in our class up here in our picture, I'm going to go ahead and add border 2 pixels solid this color. This specifies the width, specifies what kind of line it is, and specifies the color. So there's our border. And now we have our text box, which is this nice oceany green color. Is ocean green this color? I don't know. Anyways, we're going to do the same thing. Add a background color of this code. I love you, Dazzling, but shut up. We're going to go border radius to get these rounded edges that we made in our program, but like I said, the program decided to spit a bunch of jargon at us rather than putting it in the class. So we're going to make a border radius of 10 pixels, and we'll see how that looks. There we go. Beautiful. For our background picture, let's just pick out Napoleon Bonaparte. Trust me, I hate me too. Alrighty, let's get this handsome fella in here. For our picture background, instead of having the background color, we're going to go background, URL, open parenthesis, close URL. Close parenthesis, not close URL. And hit preview. As you can see, that's not the picture that we had. We're going to have to position it. And with that, we use our background size tags. Since it's square, we can just go background size 100%. If it wasn't square, like not that one, like one of these ones, we'd have to probably zoom and move it up and move it down using the background position tags. But we don't have to do that this time. So here's our little Napoleon Bonaparte character sheet. For our text, let's go ahead and add some properties here. So our font size, I always go with 10 pixels, but that's up to you. Font weight normal. That one's not necessarily necessary. That was so redundant. That tag isn't necessary. I just like having it there in case I want to mess with bold or like text transforms or anything like that. We'll get into that later. We're going to go line height. That's not how you spell height. Line height, 11 pixels. Our color, we want to use, was it this one? Let's go with this color. Why not? And we aren't going to specify our font in here because there are a couple threads on here that talk about which fonts do and do not work in your CSS classes. I like when everything works, so we're going to specify our font in the HTML BBCode below. We're not going to do that here. So let's go ahead and add some padding, which basically makes it so that the text isn't pressed up against all the sides, and there's a little bit of cushion in there. Let's go 5 pixels and text align justify, which makes it nice and compact and pretty. We don't have any text in there, so let's add some text. That's not what I wanted. Oops, generator. 5 paragraphs. Generate. Before we do that, also, we're going to go overflow auto, so it scrolls. Down here, text, and drop that in there. Look at that. We have some nice yellow text. We want to change our font color. Not font color, sorry. Font family, let's go with Quicksand. That's a cute font. Which you can find all the fonts that this website supports on Google Fonts. They're all free to rip off the internet, so you can just use them there. Yeah, as you can see, that affected our text box. Now let's real quick wrap this in a text container so that the scroll is hidden if you want it to be hidden. So we're going to copy our text class. I have 4 minutes to do this, so let's go quick. Text container is what we'll call it. Now over here, we want our text to be relative and our text container to be absolute, because the text container is going to be what determines the width, the height, the position, all the color and formatting information like that, while the text is going to be just the pure font, text size, line height, all that stuff. So for text container, we're just going to get rid of all of this. And yep, that's good. We want overflow to be hidden. For this guy, we want to get rid of these. Want to get rid of those. And I think that's good. Let's see what that makes. It's not going to be correct yet, but we're getting there. So div class equals text container. Got to close our div down here. Preview. And now we have this kind of partially hidden scroll that isn't exactly right, but we're almost there. I have like 40 seconds, but we're going to go ahead and make this 255. Preview that. Let's go ahead and make it 260 for shits and giggles. And you might have to adjust your height depending on how much you want to show at the bottom, but yeah, that should be our BBCode. And you can add no break tags at the top and bottom to get rid of this dead space, but for now, that's it. See you guys next time.